Hi, today's video is going to be the hardest video I've ever had to film. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I am so nervous. And I've spent the past week doing nothing but running away from my problems and hiding from all my problems and trying to avoid this because that's what I do best. When I have a problem, I push it under the rug and I run away from it and I hide from it until I can't anymore. And I woke up today and was like, I need to face this head on. I owe the people that subscribe to me and the people that love me and the people who've supported me through everything and the people who are supporting me through this, I owe them an explanation and an apology with no excuses. And so that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm going to own up to everything I have done wrong. I'm going to own up to all of my mistakes. I'm going to apologize for them. And I want you guys to know that I'm really thankful for anybody who is still here to listen. I honestly don't deserve the amount of love and support you guys have been giving me this past week, and the amount of you that are still here to like hear me out is like insane. I feel very blessed. And I know no matter what, there are going to be people that hate me. There are going to be people that dislike this video. There are going to be people that leave hate comments. There are going to be people that won't hear me out, that don't care what I have to say. And I understand that. And honestly, I deserve it. But to those of you left that are here to hear me out and hear what I have to say and listen to my apology, I'm really thankful for that. And thank you for continuing to support me even when I'm wrong as fuck. Let's get into the video. The first thing I want to talk about is the main thing, the thing that is everywhere, and that is videos of me saying the N-word, and more importantly, the half-assed, disgusting, shitty way that I apologized for them in the past. So basically, long story short, there are a few videos of me as a freshman in high school calling my best friend Amari, who is black, the N-word, and he's filming me. And while I've apologized for those before, I look back to my apologies in the past and I'm so fucking ashamed of them. They are so half-ass and bad, and they're literally just straight lies. I know that there's this one video of me where I literally come on Snapchat and say, hey, I know that there's videos of me saying the N-word. Well, Mac Miller says it and I thought it meant homie or friend. I'm sorry. We all grow, we all learn. I made a mistake. Bye. And I watch that video now and I cringe so fucking hard at how much of a fucking lying, stupid idiot I was. I just want to say, first and foremost, to everybody asking me this question, they're like, why would you say you thought it meant homie or friend if in the video you were saying it in a derogatory way? I said I thought it meant homie or friend because I was a fucking idiot. Those videos started to go viral and surface everywhere, and honestly, I was terrified. The first time they ever surfaced, I was so scared and so fucking terrified of anybody thinking that I was a racist that I pushed it under the rug. I said that I thought it meant homie or friend because I wanted to make it seem like less of a big deal because I was so scared. And I realize now how much easier it would have just been at that time to come on and say, hey, when I was filming those videos, I was an ignorant teenager who thought it would be shocking and funny to call my black friend the N-word while he filmed it, and all of our friends thought it was so shocking and so funny and we thought it was a joke. And now I've grown up and I've changed. I've learned so much and I've matured, and now I never want to say that word. I'm not racist. I know it's wrong to say that word, and I don't think you guys should say it either. And if I would have came on and apologized like that months ago, I wouldn't even be dealing with this now. I wouldn't even be going through this. But instead, I was a coward and I was afraid, and I thought it would be easier to pacify everything and just come on Snapchat and pretend like I had no idea what it meant. Of course I knew what it meant. My friend was black and all of my friends thought it was so funny to say like slurs to him and stupid shit because it was shocking and funny. And then I grew up and I learned the pain behind that word and the depth behind that word and the history behind that word, and I knew it was wrong and I was ashamed of my past, and I thought that it was easier to just pretend like I had no idea. And I'm sorry for that. I should have owned up to my wrongs, not half-ass, but entirely. I should have told you guys the truth and that I knew what it meant. I should have told you guys the entire truth to begin with. I should have apologized sincerely and fully instead of waiting until now to do it. And I honestly learned a giant lesson from that. And that is when something surfaces of me doing something wrong, I get called out for bullshit in the future, I will stop right there. And no matter how terrified I am of people thinking a certain way of me or something because of mistakes I've made, that it's a lot less hard for me in the long run just to own up to it right then and there fully, honestly, and apologize for it. Because we're all only human and we all make mistakes. But why I'm so wrong in this situation is because I didn't say, I made a mistake. I knew what it meant. I just thought I was being shocking and funny. I said, I was 14. Mac Miller says it. Please forgive me. Like, what a fucking idiot. And I'm sorry for being so fucking stupid. I was just scared. And I thought that that was the right thing to do. And it sucks that I'm in this industry where people all, and this isn't an excuse, by the way. It's still wrong. But where people all around you are constantly telling you, like, don't address it or just sweep it under the rug. Make it seem like it's not a big deal. And I took that advice and it bit me in the ass. But I'm not using that as an excuse. I know right from wrong. I should have said no. I need to say I said it. I knew what it meant. And I was an idiot. I'm sorry for being a fucking coward. And I'm sorry for giving you guys such a stupid apology and explanation because you mean so much more to me than that. You guys are worth so much more than that. And you guys are my family. And I've always prided myself on being really real with you guys. And in that moment, apologizing like that was the least real thing I could have done. And I think that that's why I regret it the most, because I promised you guys I would always be real with you. And I think that in that moment I could have been a lot more real with you. All in all, I said the N-word in those videos. I knew what it meant, regardless of me knowing the depth of it or the pain behind it or anything like that. I knew that it was a slur, and my friends and I thought it was shocking and offensive and funny to say to Amari because he was black and he was okay with it and he thought it was funny and blah blah blah. And so I made stupid vines like that. And when they surfaced, like I said, I was scared as fuck, and I didn't want people to think I was a racist because I was such an activist against racism. So I swept it under the rug and I gave you guys the most half-ass excuse-filled apology, hoping that that would pacify it and I could go back to being an activist and being against racism, and I'm sorry for that. And I learned that next time I get called out for some stupid ass bullshit I did in the past, I need to own up to it right then and there and face that head on, own up to everything I did and apologize in order to move on properly. Now, the second thing I want to address is a lot of people are saying that I'm only apologizing because of this giant scandal, because iDubbbz called me out, because everybody's talking about it, because everybody's making videos about it. And honestly, those people are right. Had this not happened to me, had iDubbbz not made that video, had the entire world been looking at my channel under this microscope and criticizing me and calling me out for my wrongs, I would have never made this video. I would have never owned up to it. I would have never had to face it the way that I am right now. I would have continued to give half-ass shitty apologies like I was previously. I would have continued to push it under the rug and run away from my problems like I always do. I would have never made a video like this because I would have been too afraid. And in a really fucked up, weird way, I am glad all of this is happening because I have to face my problems. I have to face the past. I have to own up to everything I did wrong. I think that this has all taught me a really valuable lesson to think about what I say before I say it and to not just run to the computer and run to Snapchat and be an idiot. And that kind of brings me to my next point, which is my tweet to iDubbbz telling him to kill himself that I deleted. That's actually why like all of this started, is because a while ago someone showed me iDubbbz video and I heard him saying the N-word, and I ran to Twitter and tweeted him and said, why do you say the N-word? Kill yourself. And then after like a few minutes I deleted it. My best way of explaining that is that I am such an impulsive idiot. I'm such an impulsive person. Whenever I think something, I run to Twitter to tweet it. Whenever something makes me mad, the first thing I do is like grab my phone and Snapchat about it or tweet about it or live stream about it, like that live stream of me saying I hope he breaks both of his legs. Do I actually hope he breaks both of his legs? Do I actually hope he kills himself? No, but I'm impulsive and stupid and I run to my phone and I run to my live stream when someone makes me mad and I tweet stupid shit like that. And that was so stupid. Like I heard him saying the N-word, I got annoyed and I ran to Twitter and I said that. First of all, I had no place to be telling anybody not to say the N-word when I never owned up and apologized fully to me saying the N-word. Like it had been one thing, like I said, if I had genuinely apologized and actually owned up to the shit I'd done in the past and then I wanted to call someone out, but like, Tana, how fucking dare you call someone else out for saying something when you haven't even owned up properly to you saying it? And I never would have if it wasn't for this whole situation. So that was so stupid. And telling him to kill himself was so wrong, regardless of if someone makes you mad. You should never say that to anybody. And I know that iDubbbz is like strong and he would never actually like kill himself and like he can take things like that, but there are lots of people people that can't. And me being this person who advocates for positivity and talks people out of suicide and talks about how suicide is never the answer and how it gets better and all this shit, and I'm gonna promote saying something like that, like that's so fucking stupid. And obviously after tweeting it, I knew that that was wrong and I deleted it, but I think that it taught me a lesson in the bigger picture that when something does annoy me, to not go be impulsive and crazy and fucking run to Twitter and run to YouNow and like say shit that I probably shouldn't say. I think that a lot of the shit that's happening is a big lesson to me to really think about what I say before I say it, because I have this huge platform, I have this voice. I need to be smarter about the things that I say and the things that I do before I do them. So I am sorry for that. I'm sorry for telling anyone to kill themselves, whether it's serious or not. I obviously didn't want him to kill himself, but I should not be promoting the use of saying that. I should not be promoting the use of saying anything hateful to anyone, whether it's impulsive or not. Like, that's not an excuse. Like, oh, I'm impulsive, so I can say that. No, think about what the fuck you say before you say it, Hannah. So from this point on, I'm going to make sure to think about everything I say before I run to my camera, before I run to Twitter, before I am a hypocrite and I call someone else out for saying the N-word when I had no right to call anybody else out because I hadn't addressed my past. I think that that was so wrong and hypocritical of me to call someone else out when I hadn't like called myself out, you know, when I hadn't actually apologized and owned up to the things that I'd done. So I'm sorry for that. It was impulsive and it was stupid and I was wrong as fuck. And now the last thing I want to apologize for is explaining the iDub situation differently than it happened in my N-word video. Honestly, that day when that happened, like iDub's coming to my meet and greet. When you're doing a meet and greet, you get into meet and greet mode, I guess you could say. You're used to everybody coming up to you with all love and all positivity and all happiness, and when someone approaches you wearing your merch, you think that they're there to love you and support you, and then they do something that scares the shit out of you. It really sends your brain into like insanity. And I know that the people who watch iDubbbz aren't gonna understand where I'm coming from in this sense, because when you watch iDubbbz, you know he's not scary, you know he's not a scary person, but I didn't know it was iDubbbz at the time when he came up to me. And when somebody comes up to you dressed as a fan and they put their arm around you and they try to get you to say something that you hate, it is very scary. If you watch iDubbbz and you're an iDubbbz fan, you don't see that perspective at all because you watch iDubbbz. He's funny, you know he's like harmless, you know he wasn't gonna hurt me, but I didn't know it was iDubbbz at the time, and I thought it was just someone trying to fuck with me and someone trying to scare me. And I never really gave myself time to really think about the situation. I feel like if I could have actually given myself some time to think about it, instead of, like I said in the last thing, like running to Twitter and being impulsive, and I had to go on stage right after that and be funny and be YouTube Tana, and I was impulsive and I talked about it then because I'm an impulsive person, and when something happens to me, that's what I do. I get emotional and I run to Twitter and I run to YouTube and I film a video and all that kind of stuff, and I never gave myself a chance to really sit back and think about the situation. And obviously in my head the situation was a lot longer, it was more dramatic, it was so much more than just that 1 second video of him with his arm around my shoulder saying like, say blank. Like, it was so much more than that to me. It was consuming my entire thoughts, and as I thought about it, I became more emotional and I spoke from entirely like emotion, if that makes sense. And I was obviously looking into the camera and not looking at him, and I literally swear to God, I swear to you, when I look back to the situation, I remember nothing more than him like doing a thumbs up, but I guess he didn't. That's where I was wrong. I should have waited for the video to surface. I should have made sure all of my facts were entirely straight. But when I made the N-word video, I didn't think it was iDubbbz. I wasn't trying to like ruin his career or anything like that. I wasn't trying to like hurt anybody or ruin anybody. I thought it was a random person. And obviously I wasn't intending to lie or exaggerate that situation at all, because I knew that the video of the person saying, say N-word to me was eventually going to come out, whether it was iDubbbz or not. They were going to post it. They were filming it for a reason, you know? So what would I get out of lying about it just for the video to surface and then me to look like an idiot when it's different than it happened? That's genuinely how I thought it happened, but I'm fucking stupid for not making sure that that's exactly how it happened before talking about it. I'm stupid for being impulsive and just speaking about the situation and not worrying about details, because in the end it just made me look like more of an exaggerative like liar. And so I learned a giant fucking lesson from this, and that's when you're telling stories, make sure the details are right, especially when you're live. Like, I'm so stupid. Like, my livelihood, my career comes from me telling stories, comes from me talking about my life. And so if I get a fact of a very important story wrong, that's gonna make every story I ever tell tell for the rest of ever look less credible. Like that wasn't my intention. Obviously, that's the last thing I would want to do, is ruin the one thing that I like love to do. I don't want people to watch me and think that I'm some exaggerative liar now. So I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for exaggerating the details of something because I hadn't sat back to reflect on them perfectly. I'm sorry for not telling it perfect fact for fact how it happened. I was speaking straight from emotion. That's how I thought I remembered it. So I did no fucking research and I just spoke off of my head and off of my heart, and that's what I said. I had no intention of hurting iDubbbz or ruining his career or anything like that because I didn't even know it was him filming that. But regardless, that doesn't make it okay. Next time you tell people about something serious that happened to you, make sure that you are telling it moment for moment exactly how it happened, so you don't lose credibility. Like it's not that hard, and I'm an idiot for taking something like that so lightly, and I shouldn't have sat down and ran to the camera and filmed that video when I was in an emotional state. I should have waited for that video to come out, watched it, and made sure that when I talked about it, I was talking about it exactly as it happened, word for word. So I'm sorry for that as well. I'm sorry for ever using the term like chokehold. I tried to explain in that video that it wasn't a chokehold, but I still just like, I didn't explain it well enough. I should have literally said his arm was around my shoulder, but I remembered it so much dramatically and differently than it actually happened. And I explained it that way. I explained it from dramatic emotion like a fucking idiot. And I realized that filming something when you're still emotional about it causes for you to be over dramatic, and it causes for you to speak from your emotion. And so I guess I realized from that situation that I shouldn't sit down and run to the camera and film something when I'm still like emotional about it or right after it happened, if that means that I can't not speak from emotion and not, like, I should have taken a break and reflected and calmed down and not filmed it when I was still frustrated and scared and feeling all of those emotions, and I'm sorry for that. All in all, this is a giant wake-up call for me. Before I run to the camera or before I run to Twitter, I need to reflect more. I need to think about what I'm gonna say more, and I need to make sure it's not gonna affect another person's life. I don't want to rely on being over dramatic to make good content. I don't need that. I genuinely can be funny without being over dramatic, without being exaggerative or any of those things. I don't want to lose my credibility. I don't want people to look at me like I'm a liar. So I need to work on thinking and reflecting to make sure that everything I say is completely factual and genuine. The next time I have a scandal or I get called out for something or a video of me doing something dumb comes up, I need to face it head on no matter how scared of it I am, and I need to address it fully and entirely and apologize then and there for that situation so that it doesn't grow to be something much bigger because of me being an idiot. I need to learn that I can't deal with things by pushing them away because it creates situations like this. If I want to be an activist for something and I have a past of doing something that negates that, I need to own up to my past entirely before calling out other people like a hypocrite, because that doesn't make you more of an activist. It just makes you a hypocritical idiot, and I learned that lesson. I'm still going to continue to be an activist against racism and for equality, and I won't ever say that word. I want you guys to know that this situation doesn't change what I believe in. I still am so against racism and so against inequality, but I needed to own up to my past before I could continue to be about those things. And I want you guys to know this video isn't just me saving my career or something like that. Like, I'm genuinely trying to better myself. This situation has taught me more about life than anything in the past 5 years. I genuinely feel like I'm coming out of this situation stronger this past week. This past week, I've received more hate than I thought possible, and my entire YouTube career, I've never let the hate get to me. Never once have I read hate comments and believed them until now. This past week, would read comments of people telling me they wanted me to kill myself. And I've never felt this feeling before, but I genuinely was like, would the world be a better place without me? I've never felt the feeling of comments actually affecting you like that. I think that I always would look at people who got affected by hate comments as like weak, and I never understood it. And now I'm so much more empathetic to people that do get hurt by things over the internet or do read hate comments and get upset, because I know what it feels like now. I know what it feels like to get online and see nothing but people hating you and genuinely believe the internet would be a better place without me, or that the world would be a better place without me, for that matter. I finally felt what it feels like to feel like the whole world hates you and to not want to live because of it. And I don't want like a pity party. I'm not asking for that, but I'm saying that this situation made me so much more empathetic to so many other people, and it taught me so much. And I'm excited to continue to grow and mature from this. I'm excited to work on a lot of things about myself. I'm excited to continue to grow because I look back at how little I knew and how ignorant I was and how stupid I was when I was 14 and 15 and doing all that dumb shit. And I look at myself now and I look at how much I've grown and how much of a better person I am now and how much more I know now. And I'm excited to continue to do that. And in 3 years, look back to me now and be like, damn, I was really dumb then. I'm glad I learned even more. And I think that's what life is all about, is making mistakes and owning up to them and growing and continuing to make more mistakes and owning up to them and growing more, because that's what we do as human beings. And I think that where I was the most wrong in this whole situation was not owning up to my mistakes properly. And I'm excited in a way that I'm getting to do that in this video, because now I can properly grow and properly grow up and move on and mature. And this has been the hardest week of my life, but with that comes a lot of learning, and I'm really, really thankful in a really weird way that this happened now, so I could stop myself and backtrack and learn a lot of shit and own up to all of the dumb shit I've done and move on. So I'm gonna shut up now. I told you guys I wasn't gonna ramble and this was gonna be a short video, but here we are. Like every video ever. Thank you to anybody still by my side. I learned this week how valuable and fragile and precious my place here on the internet is, and how really, really lucky I am to have this platform. And the fact that a lot of you guys chose to stay and hear me out makes me feel so grateful and so lucky that I have a family that forgives me and that knows I'm only human and makes mistakes, but holds me accountable for them and holds me accountable for when I apologize wrong and holds me accountable for when I lie and holds me accountable for when I'm a fucking idiot. I'm so thankful that I built a fan base of genuine, real people that will call me the fuck out when I deserve it. Thank you for everything, for being the reason why I'm still alive. This week, I literally wanted to die so badly, and the only reason why I didn't do anything or like act upon it, I guess you could say, is because I knew that a lot of you guys would be hurt and that I don't want to be that kind of example. I want to be the example of strength when hate is coming your way or when life is down on you. And I'm so thankful that you guys give me a platform to be able to be that example. All in all, I love you guys so much, and I'm sorry for everything that I've done wrong in this video. Thank you for hearing me out and listening. I hope you can accept my apology. If you can't, I understand. I've made a million mistakes. But from this point on, I really do intend on changing a lot and holding myself a lot more accountable and being a lot more brutally honest and upfront with you guys. And I want to spend the next few months getting back to exactly where I came from, which is making silly, crazy content that I love to make and making you guys smile and laugh by doing it. I want to get back to being real as fuck. I want to be as real as I possibly can in all of my content from this point forward. I don't want to ever give anybody a reason to ever question my credibility again, and I want to continue being an activist for what I believe in. Alright guys, thank you so much for listening to everything that I have to say. Thank you guys for supporting me through all of my wrongs, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up now and stop rambling, and I will talk to you guys, and it feels so good to say this, I will talk to you guys in the next video where I am back to crazy ass, not impulsive ass Tana. Bye.